This is Ängbyplan, with the train just rolling in behind the one I got off of. We're at the timetable south end of the platform, which is the geographically the east end of the platform. So I'm going to, since we're here, show you the line and grab a shot of the train departing. I hate to sound like a broken record, but I can say this is another station where there's just not really that much to say. It's a pretty dull station. Island platform, 2 tracks, curved. One thing I can say, when I was a train operator, we didn't have this. The closed-circuit television was in a cabinet here on the platform, more or less where I'm standing. Oh, here comes another train. Let's grab that. Why not? Okay. Here we go. So what I was saying was there was a cabinet that was somewhere about here, more or less. The long train marker is right there. So it was somewhere about here. And basically you had to hold on to the mic, the microphone, and because the microphone also had a door close button on it, you would bring it over to this cabinet, and it was kind of like a Nickelodeon or a peep show or something. You peeked through this little window, and you could spot the doors that way. Of course, you couldn't spot the ones that weren't covered by the camera, so you also had to whip your head around and look back at the train, and then look back in this little hole and do that until you were satisfied that everything was safe, and then you would click the close door button on the microphone. And then, of course, once the doors were closed, you would verify again that that nobody had gotten caught in the doors, and then you could start the train. In that sense, it was an advantage that this was a quiet station. The other thing I was going to say about Ängbyplan is that I haven't checked the figures in a long time, but this, I believe, has always been one of the least used stations on the tunnelbana. And another thing I can mention is that the name of this station was originally Färjestadsvägen. This was a tram stop on the tram line that was converted to the tunnelbana. And as I say, the original name was Färjestadsvägen, which is a street that we will see when we exit the station and go downstairs. But yeah, so okay, apparently we've got peak service started because the next train is for Vällingby. And these trains are coming semi-frequently, it seems. I don't know. Vällingby 4 minutes, has to be starting to 8 minutes, has to be starting to 18 minutes. That 10-minute gap doesn't feel very peak servicey, but I don't know. Anyway, but on the southbound side, it's 1 minute, 6 minutes, 10 minutes. So there could be trains coming out of the yard at Vällingby and going into service from that direction going south. So yeah. By the way, station name sign, just for fun. These are those terrible Helvetica signs that they started putting up, I believe, in the 1980s. I hate Helvetica, but that's another story. Yeah. So we can head downstairs. This is the only exit from the station. That southbound train coming in. I have never entered or exited this station before, so Again, sounding a little bit like a broken record, but this is a new experience for me too. So let's see what's down here. I've seen it from the train, but I've never actually been down here on the street and looked. So gravy. I may be wrong, but I think at least some of the construction here is relatively new. By relatively new, I mean in the past 20 years or so, because I remember this being a much quieter area with not that much here. This Gâteau bakery and pastry shop is, I don't know if the building is new, but of course Gâteau didn't exist before, and I am in the way of cyclists. Whoops. So I have backed up a little bit. These apartment buildings that we can see behind the Gâteau also are, I think, relatively new. So, yeah, see what's on the other side. There's Indian Lounge, where I have never eaten, but I think it's kind of cool that there is an Indian restaurant there. So, the street we are walking along is Färjestadsvägen. It changes names when it crosses this. I'm not even sure I want to call this a strode. This is honestly really more like a highway. So, and I never can remember what the name is on the other side. But anyway, yeah. So, yeah, this is pretty much what's here. It's mostly housing, as you can see, except for right here, you know. So, yeah. I am, out of curiosity, going to look at this. I have been wondering how this worked. This is obviously bike parking, but I have wondered how the upper level works. This is interesting. Very interesting. I have half a mind to try one of these sometime just for the hell of it. That's very interesting. Okay. So we'll go back upstairs, and I think I can wind this up now. I don't think there's just, well, we'll take a look at the art and see if I can find the art plaque. I think the art is the tile that lines the staircase, which you are seeing as we approach the staircase. I think this is the art, but I don't know who did this, or if it's supposed to represent something, or if it's just supposed to be pretty. I don't really know. But let's see. Here we go. I had to stop and get out my transit card. So, yes, it's the walls in the stairwell. Oh, it also says in the lift hall, which I'm not sure what it's referring to. But anyway, so, interesting. Images from old magazines and photographs, how interesting. Okay, all right. Okay, I'm going to take this train going south, or north, actually, to SLB in just a minute. So I will wind this up now. So doing something I don't usually do, facing the camera to end the video. I've kind of been forgetting to do that. But anyway, yeah, see you in the next one. Thanks for being with me.